Fit like Abdi, Danny Boy here, and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. As the title describes, we are going to be going... Oh, there's a plane there. What kind of plane is that? But we'll be heading outside in just a second. Yeah, we'll be heading on the Caledonian sleeper up to Aberdeen from London King's Cross on a day-night cycle. Now there is no day-night cycle, as we know, in Transport Fever 2. However, there are mods. There is the sunset mod, and there is the night mod. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on this train. We are going to ride it. It is currently, if we head outside, it is currently sunset. So the sun is setting. It's a Korean Air plane that's heading overhead. The sunset mod looks absolutely magical. I do not know why Transport Fever do not add a day-night cycle and have things like this. Maybe it's just too hard for like shaders to sort of kick in and sort of change everything. But this does look glorious. I love the shadows as well. The shadows are more sort of prominent in this. There is a few sort of artifact and things. Some things look a bit strange when you look further off, but things close up look absolutely magical. And then you'll see when we get to the night mod, planes actually look really good. And I might actually throw the night mod back on and then jump on a plane. But here's your train today. It's got a DVT. This is actually a DB cargo unbranded, but it's fine. We've got sleeper wagons, Caledonian sleeper wagons. The doors are open, passengers are boarding. And then we've got the standard seating. The seating on the Caledonian sleeper is really nice. They're these really large, comfy seats. There's not as many seats in a sort of carriage. It's for people who want to travel at night, but are possibly not going far enough that they're going to need a bed to sleep in overnight, and or if you don't really want to pay the extra price to get a room, a cabin, then you can sit in these seats. They are, or were, very comfortable. I've been in the Caledonian sleeper many times, not in a cabin, just in a seat. Normally when working down south, sometimes a job will come to an end, and when your job comes to an end, the company you work for want you to go home as soon as possible. As soon as you enter your front door of your house, that job is officially over. So if the job's over on one day, and then you sort of go, well, I don't want to travel at night, I want to wait to the next day, they then have to pay the rate for each operator or worker for another 24 hours. And the prices for oil workers can be really quite steep, so like thousands of pounds a day. So they want you to get home as fast as possible. Now I would always I'd be like, oh well, I'll jump on the Caledonian sleeper and I'll get home tonight. And they'll be like, oh, that's great. What they don't actually realise is, when I used to live in Fraserburgh, I would get to Aberdeen the next day, but I still wouldn't actually be home. I then had to drive for an hour, and then it would be into the next day, so they would have to pay me that 24 hours anyway. Even if I get home at like 6 in the morning the next day, even if I get home at 1 o'clock in the morning the next day, literally an hour after the day before, that is still classed as working for the day. There are people I know that used to sort of dilly-dally. One time we were coming back from Holland. A guy was like, oh, the flight to Aberdeen is cancelled. I'm trying to get a flight to London and then a flight up to Aberdeen from there. But really, his flight to Aberdeen hadn't been cancelled at all. He had a night out in Holland and then went a night out in Amsterdam and then went home the next day, and he got paid his extra 24 hours. You're not really supposed to do that, and he was extremely lucky that no one in the office really deemed to sort of look into it, because he had actually paid for the flight with his own money. and then you keep your receipts, your tickets, and you get it expensed back. If the office had paid for that flight, they would have been straight on the case like, oh, why is this flight cancelled? We'll have to go and find another flight. They would have asked for their refunded money back. And then they would have known straight away, it's like, wait, this flight left. This flight went from Amsterdam to Aberdeen. So, yeah, it's a tricky game to play. And it takes experience to get it done right. You have to know the ins and outs of the system to get yourself an extra day's away, an extra offshore bonus, or working away from home bonus wage. So we're going to jump on this though. What we're going to do is head up to... I don't know if I want to head up to York. No, we'll head up to York with the sunset mod on. Once we get to York, we will revert it back to the night mode. Once we get to, say, Edinburgh, we will put it back on to the daytime again. So we're ready to jump on our train and then head out at night. So here we go, sunset. I actually see a train in the distance there through that. How is that possible? Oh yeah, because there's another station just at the other side of here. I thought it was maybe the like our Eurostar station, which is way at the other side of London, and I was like, there's no way we can possibly see that from here. So it's taken an extremely long time to load our 2 people that want to board the service here. This would not be a profitable service for a Caledonian sleeper if it only had 2 people on board it. It's taken a long time. Where are you not going? There we go. So there we've got a Grand Central train coming in. Now one thing I will say is that after the Vulcan graphics update, lights on the front trains and at the back of them are, we'll say, extremely prominent. They're quite bright. Now I actually played with the night mod many moons ago, roughly when it first came out, and it was one of the first mods to really appear for Transport Fever 2. It was there sort of early doors, right in the beginning. Now it had the lights on trains weren't bright enough, but it doesn't matter because the lights on trains are simply for show. There's no beam in front of the train like headlights or like high beams on a car. It doesn't light up the path in front. They're just sort of there. It does make them extremely visible because they're so bright. There's some weird pixelating that you'll see when we hit up the night mod. And the worst offender is definitely the Class 47. Their front lights are ridiculously bright. So bright, it's like they're literally on like a sort of full beam, high beam. They are almost blinding. You can't see the train at all when it's coming towards you. The night mod as well also had a really nice like full moon up in the skybox. Obviously in the skybox for this, I don't know if you can see the sun from here. There it is. So it's just like a sort of more shaded. That looks really nice. One thing I will mention is yes, that planes at night time look extremely nice with their location lights on. So I might jump on a plane as well. But this is really nice. I really like the sunset mod. Even in Transport Fever 1, the sunset mod was epic. Now the lights on the front of this DVT are not that bad. They're actually very nice. However, some of them are quite brutal. And you'll see it more when it comes to nighttime. There's also some weird things that happen at night that I will point out when the time comes. Class 225 there. It's been rolling about in the mud because it's extremely dirty. Now the lights in the towns are not on at the moment for the sunset mod. There's a freight train in the distance. That looks really nice. It does. Why is this not an actual thing in the game? A lot of people there's a lot of debate I've seen about people either requesting or asking why there's no day-night cycle on Transport Fever. And then you get the naysayers that are like, oh, it's a tycoon game. You know, it's you're supposed to build up rail routes, airways, road routes, ship routes. You're supposed to grow towns, you're supposed to make money. There's no need for a day-night cycle. And there's also the people are like, well, you can't build at night time because it's so dark. Bollocks. Bollocks to thee, because lots of games have a day-night cycle. Soviet Workers and Resources. Now, that night in Soviet Workers Resources is extremely dark because it's an immersive game. I mean, if you don't have heating for your citizens in that game, they all die and they all leave, which is what happens in the real world. Unlike SimCity or City Skylines, where people just sort of complain and go, oh, I don't have heating, I don't have water, my wastewater doesn't go anywhere, there's no electricity in my building. Not having them in that game have real world consequences. So having the harsh winters, having like rain, snow, nighttime, all have a massive effect. Vehicles travel slower at night unless they're on a lit road, a road with street lamps at the side of it. Now that's what happens in the real world. I mean, most people don't. Most people, the lights in cars now are pretty effective. You can drive at full speed at night to the speed limit to your heart's content, especially if you know the road. Maybe if you don't know the road and it's darker, you would use a bit more caution. You would maybe drive a bit slower. And the night cycle on that is extremely dark, because that's what it's supposed to be like in real life. But you can go into the Lua files, change up some of the gamma and stuff to make it more visible. Now that's great, especially as a content creator. People don't want to watch a YouTube video and be like, oh well, it's nighttime and I can't see anything. But yeah, it's there. Anno 1800, again, the buildings were well lit, and people always said it was super difficult to build at night. That was never an issue for me. Whether it's day or night, I can see everything perfectly. And so be it. Like City Skylines has a day-night cycle. It's not impossible to build. So they do work, and the thing that makes them work is normally they have this, like what the night mod used to have, was this moon. A full moon in the background that sort of lit everything up. So it wasn't in perpetual darkness. It wasn't complete darkness. So we are heading for Doncaster, and then once we get to York we'll switch over to the night mod. So yeah, nighttime should be a thing. Weather should be a thing. I mean, yes, it's a tycoon game. You're supposed to, the aim is to make money through creating profitable transport and freight, passenger and freight links. But the devs who went through all this trouble to make the game try and look as realistic as possible. They've really improved the vehicle models from Transport Fever 1, the buildings, the traffic, the grass, the trees. Now, what's the point in going through all that to make it super realistic just to have us play in perpetual daytime? Or to have it be perpetually sunny constantly for every day of every year? If the world was just sun every single day of the year and there was no nighttime, we would live in a very different world. Games like this need day-night cycles. They need weather, rain, snow, wind. Wind is not really effective in a game like this, but hey ho, why not? And the trees do sway a bit sometimes. I've noticed that, and that's supposed to give a sort of calmed effect of sort of wind. But yeah, things like maybe having a haze, fog or something. I mean, these should all be options that the player should be able to switch on and off, but they should be in the game, really. And anyone that says otherwise is just they're wrong. I mean, you wouldn't play Flight Sim or Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, and have the game be perpetually in day in sunlight. That just doesn't work. People add mods to add snow, but there is rain, there is sun, there's thunder and lightning, there's fog. Because these are what happens in the real life, and it adds a level of immersion to the game. And quite frankly, a lot of games that feature rain in them, and they have the sort of like everything is wet effect, especially on things like Euro Truck and American Truck, look fantastic. They really look really good. I mean, there are mods for more realistic rain. I still play Euro Truck and Truck Simulator and American Truck in my spare time. I used to play it a lot when I was offshore. It's a great game to sort of play. There's no pressure or time constraint. You jump in a truck, you pick up a load, you drive to somewhere. You get to see some nice scenery. You get to dodge some dodgy AI traffic in their weird dodgy ways. But yeah, it's great. Weather and day-night cycles should be in here. I'm not a game dev, so I have no idea how hard it would be to implement that. But at least if they had implemented it from the get-go, this would seem like a completely new title. When Transport Fever 2 was first, like the first trailer came out, I was like, whoa, that looks amazing. And then I start to read a bit more into it, and it's basically Transport Fever 1 with a few more added mechanics, things that I think are good, some things I think are bad. The pollution for heading around cities, but who cares? Who cares if your vehicles are polluting cities? People don't care in the real world. It's not a city that needs a large amount of goods. It's not going to turn around and say to trucks or trains, whoa, you cannot bring your vehicle in here because it causes pollution. And the transport operator goes, well, you need to grab like 10,000 people and then have them walk to somewhere and then pick up all your goods and take them back. You need these things. That's how the world works. Goods are transported in trucks, trains, ships, planes, because they have to be. It's not viable for a single person to walk and pick up an item. Imagine one person going and saying, oh, I need this electrical generator and I need it into my house at the centre of London. Well, we are not allowed to take trucks or vans, or we can't put it on a train up to London because they've banned all vehicles. So you have to walk, maybe get a horse and tow it. Yeah, that doesn't work. So that is slightly weird why they added the emissions. Things like not sending vehicles back to a depot to replace them. They auto replace. They just magically, before you had to send a train back to a depot or just delete it and buy another one and then reconfigure that train. Now you can just auto replace it on the spot. The fact that they, obviously to save CPU usage, the limited amount of goods that a city will take to 2 now, which is absurd. No city in the planet is going to simply live on bread and fuel or con mats and tools. So it's weird. But we're at York now. There we go. Have a look around. That looks really nice. So yeah, I feel if they had added weather and day-night cycle, it would have at least added something new to the game that just wasn't really. Well, here's some really shiny new graphics. Everything sort of looks better. Some of the gameplay is a bit worse. Some of the gameplay is a bit better. Add some more stuff into it. I mean, they just kept the same industries. Exactly the same industries. Right, so we are here, right? We'll push pause, because we are going to jump on this at night time. Now, the sun is setting. It's not going to be It is not going to be a nice change. It's going to go from sunset to being really dark imminently. And it's going to take me a minute to to load this up. So I will go do that. So, here we are. We're back. Now, I just wanted to point something out, that when I first loaded this mod to test it out, because I've had it for ages but I've not used it, there is a point where the game is loading and then the screen comes on and it gives you like the border and stuff here, but everything else is pitch black, like real black, like the sky black. And it's, at one point I was like, oh my god, is it really this dark? But it's not. It takes a couple of minutes and then it sort of pops everything in. Now, before the naysayers jump on the bandwagon, yes, this is a mod. Yes, there's an issue. Up here, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of everything, because we don't want this stuff. I want the town names though. Yes, there is an issue. There used to be a moon in the skybox. So in the skybox, probably over there where the sun is in daylight and the setting sun is in the sunset mod, there used to be a full moon that sort of put this light bluey haze on everything. Yes, it is very dark now. Now the modder did say that they had not, this was a beta and they had not really gone back to it. It sort of worked as is, but there's been quite a few updates for Transport Fever. He had not updated it, and that's why the moon is now missing from the skybox. Now the moon lit it up quite a fair bit. I remember playing with it back in the day, and then when I first loaded it up I was like, ooh, this is actually quite dark now, like really dark. These street lights, which is odd, are red. I don't know. I think the entire world has become a perpetual red light district. The neon signs light up. I know the devs obviously did not expect anybody to do a night skybox, but even if they'd put a few lights on in some of these buildings, because the street lights come on, obviously traffic lights light up. There are no road vehicles at all in here, which I find extremely strange. No, they're there. Yeah, look, see, cars have lights, and they look really good. Now, as I said, there's no beam in front of the trains or the vehicles either. It's just sort of as is. But we'll jump on the train and then we'll dive into sort of things that are good and bad with the night mod, and then we'll change it back to daylight once we get to Edinburgh. Now obviously the station is super dark, there's no lights on the station, there's no, see, look at these lights, see I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a pixelating artifact around the lights. They become super bright during the night time. Now we are loading up 22 passengers. I cannot see the driver on the train, and for some reason this station is literally dead. There's nothing here. There should be heaps of trains going past, but it's a night time. That is the Caledonian sleeper. Right, so we are heading off. Right, you'll see as well, now that the lights are for some reason super bright, and they only changed the lighting on trains after the sort of Vulcan graphics update. I mean, there's a class 43 rolling in. It doesn't look too bad. But it is still very dark. But obviously if this had been a implemented feature in the real game, I don't think, or there's no chance that the devs would have left it as dark as is. Now I wish, is there a plane? Yeah, there's a plane going overhead. See that plane? Now that looks really nice. And you can see the beacons flashing. Well, I can. I don't know if you guys can. But yeah, we'll jump on a plane at night as well and see how it looks flying over the sort of ground. Even though the cities are not lit up, there are definitely lights in the cities. Yeah, but here we are heading out. Oh, I would kind of like more trains. Where is it? Where is everyone? This sucks. We are passing a major freight hub. There's a train up there on the bridge that we can see. You can see that weird lighting artifact in what you call them? Signals. Yeah, the signals have them too. There's also this weird lighting glitch. You see those lights sort of phasing in and out in the distance? Strange. Now this train's lights coming towards us is so bright. Or so bright, I can't tell what it is. It's a Voyager. Okay. There's another class 43. Yeah, there's some weird lighting in the tunnels as well. Like some very weird things happen in tunnels. I see another train off in the left there. Looks like a freight train. Or it's a truck. No, it's a truck. See, the trucks have modelled lights. Why? I know in some countries, definitely in Europe, you are required to drive with either side lights on or full lights on permanently, even during daytime. There are still the odd people who, in my opinion, should not be able to obtain driver's license who drive around at night without lights on. I do not understand how you cannot notice that your lights are not on while driving at night. It's something that some people do, and the best thing for them is to buy a car that has automatic lights. That's all I'm going to say about that. You always get the dodgy character as well that knows their car has a missing headlight, but decides to drive it at night. It's like, it'll be fine. And then what they do is, because they can't see anything with just one headlight on, they leave that one headlight permanently on full beam. So that one headlight is super bright. There we go. There's a nice Trans-Pennine train going around. Oh, there's lights on that. Or is it lights? Or is it some weird glare? I mean, the Class 43s look really good. Maybe if there was a little bit of lighting inside the carriages. Because they do look like ghost trains. That they do. Now we're past the airport as well. I should have looked for a plane. Look for a plane coming in. Oh, how'd you go up again, Zed? I hate... And these camera moving tools are so slow. It looks like there's no plane coming in, but the airport is back there. Is there a plane taking off? Nothing. Nada. There's a plane circling to come around for approach. But there's nothing... Yeah. Nothing going on. Right. Down periscope. So that train is heading off. Yeah, a couple more lights here and there. Ooh, this train has got super bright lights. Why am I not... Push D. There we go. We're back in the middle. So picking up 28 passengers. I think we will jump on onto a plane and fly over the map. I think that's going to be kind of cool. I'd also like to see the Heathrow Airport at night as well. We will be changing up to daytime once we get to Edinburgh. See how bright these lights are on the left hand side? Ridiculously bright. So the Voyager also has massively bright lights as well. Now this train in the distance, the freight train that's headed past, whatever it is, its lights are just fine. Now I haven't noticed if modded vehicles that were put on the workshop after the Vulcan graphics update do have the brighter lights or not. Maybe the modders have been able to find a workaround for that. But yeah, I like this. I actually really like this travelling at night. Now obviously there are no sleeper trains in the vanilla base game. But there are modded sleeper trains for pretty much any region of the world. The UK, France, America, you name it. Russia, I do believe there's some sleeper carriages modded for them as well. The pro ones for the Russian rail. So I don't know. Obviously the game devs don't know what people are going to mod. They probably thought that no one was going to mod a night skybox. They should have anticipated that people would mod sleeper trains. Sleeper trains are a big thing in train culture. So I would love to have a standard day-night cycle. Obviously with the option to turn it off. Maybe something like Anno, where you can change the day-night cycle at the top right hand of the screen. You can have it at night, dawn, daytime, sunset. And the lighting effects look really good. But I'd like to have that just to sort of do sleeper trains and things like this. Yes, during summer, a sleeper train's journey will probably be more than half during daylight, because in summer the daylight hours last longer, and the daylight in the morning comes in earlier. But during winter, its journey is probably going to be 100% perpetually at night. It is going to leave at night in darkness, and it is going to arrive to the station the next morning in darkness. So it'd be kind of cool, so that you could have stuff like that running on the actual line. I mean, freight trains and stuff still run at night. There's no better time to run a freight train than at night time, when the tracks are quiet. Not so many passenger trains to contend with, because they're all running during the day. Obviously passenger numbers reduce at night because everyone is asleep. Obviously in the morning they pick up. People are going to work, people are going on holiday, etc. And then around in the afternoon people are going home from work, etc. But at night time, at like 2 in the morning, unless you're going on holiday or leaving extremely early, go on a business trip or something, there ain't many people going to be going about. Right, so we're at Berwick-upon-Tweed. Ooh, look, the oil rig looks nice. There's some sort of light show going on in the water. That's interesting. But the neon signs. Now the neon signs look okay during the daytime. They really pop at night. They look magnificent. Why bother to put neon signs onto buildings but not give them maybe a couple of lights on here and there? Maybe change the colour of the street lights from the red that they are to the colour that they should be. I don't know. It's maybe an extreme amount of work to do that. It probably is. It's probably not viable, but I think it would have been a nice thing to have in the game. So we are heading for Edinburgh, and then we'll get to Edinburgh and we'll sort of say, right, the night time is done, we're now into the morning time. Even though to me we should really be using the sunset mod again, because it would be sunrise, and that's going to be your closest thing to sunrise or dawn is going to be the sunset mod. But we'll put it on daytime. And then what we'll do is we'll jump on a plane at night from, say, Aberdeen down to London. We'll fly over down the east coast. In fact, I think that plane actually does fly down the coast. I don't think it flies over the land. What does fly over the land? I've not put in Inverness Airport, so we can't fly from there. We could fly on something like a transatlantic flight. I could jump over the New York airport that is outside the map and maybe jump on something there. We'll see. We'll see how we get on. Plus it's going to take me an hour to reload the map in daytime and then reload the map at night time. That's fun. Look at this Total truck. It looks great. It looks awesome. And the lights on it work. I don't understand why they implemented the lights on vehicles if they had no intention of not changing maps from anything other than permanent daylight with a slight bit of cloud. Cloudy with the chance of absolutely nothing else. There we go, LNER number, super bright lights on the front of it. See, this freight train looks fine. Yeah, and that's one of the newer Class 96s. So I think they maybe the modders have caught on that the Vulcan graphics update did make the front of train lights look ridiculously bright. They've maybe changed them up. However, the Class 43 lights are not as bad at all. I think there's one just passing us here. So there's obviously a train in front of us. You know what? We shall change it back to daytime when we get to Dundee, round the corner, and then we'll finish the last segment of the journey in daylight. I mean, this train should really go up to Inverness. Why did you not have that train go to Inverness? We could have went all the way to Aberdeen and then jumped on the train to Inverness in daylight. Because there is a Caledonian sleeper that goes from Edinburgh to Inverness. Okay. That could be a plan. We'll do that. Okay. It might be a different train. It probably is going to be a different train. It won't matter. It will be fine. The Caledonian sleeper often gets split as well. And certain trains go on different routes. So when you board, it'll be like, this carriage here will be continuing to Glasgow or somewhere else. And then at one station, during the middle of the night, while you're asleep, the carriages will be split apart. Another train will be hooked on, and then they'll traverse on their separate merry ways. What's this? Avanti West Coast? Cross country? You're cross country. See, that looks good. Edinburgh's just suffering from a rolling power outage at the moment. We'll just see that. Right, so let's go, train. Your time to shine is now. Hello? Train? Why does it take so long? Is it because these lights are red? There's a TransPennine number. So it's not that dark that you can't see the liveries. You still can see liveries of trains. You know exactly what they are. It's just when they're coming towards you and you get hit with that light, it's like, what the hell's this? It's a UFO that's coming towards me. Right, so you're red. That sucks. Because I would like to go. Are we waiting for this freight train? Who are we waiting on? Oh, you are in stealth mode. You don't have any lights on at all. Well, that's interesting. So the Class 37s don't have lights. I mean, I'm struggling to see what this is. It's fuel tankers. Huh. Okay. There we go. We've got a green light though. Green on go. So let's go. Other train on the left there. Again, lights too bright. Can't actually see what it is. I think this might be an Avanti West Coast. No, it's a ScotRail train. This is a ScotRail train as well. I can't actually tell what this one is. So we're going to pass you. The airport looks nice as well at night time. See? And there's the lights on the suspension bridges. Ah, beautiful. That's cool. One thing I will say, I did not realise how dirty my monitor was until I loaded up this mod. Because when I'm recording, I have the blind is down, but the game is in daylight. And then when I'm not recording, the blind in the office is up. So you get the glare from the sun and the light on the screen. So even when it's switched off, you can't really see it. But with this, with the extremely black sky, I can't see the lights from there, and that sucks. Heading over the Tay Bridge now. Can't see the oil rigs have gone. Can see a few vehicles crossing over there. Can't see any trains. But yeah, this is fun. This is a nice change. Obviously it's not perfect. In fact, it's far from perfect. But it's good. I like it. I want more stuff. And this mountain looks a hell of a lot better. Because it looks like they're patched with snow. Yeah, this looks a hell of a lot better at night than it does in the daytime. Maybe. Debatable. We'll see when we switch the lights back on at Aberdeen. The oil rig looks really nice. Its lights are reflecting in a neon haze across the ocean there. But it's good. If you work offshore and you're on an oil rig, at nights, when it's real dark, there's no moon, when you're looking over especially in the North Sea, you see all the other oil rigs in the distance, and they're all lit up, and it's quite a nice sight to see. And you know from experience, if you've been working in the North Sea a long time, what rig you're on, if you're facing north, east, south or west, that you'll see an oil rig in the distance and you'll be like, that's Total's something or other, or that's Repsol's whatever, or Apache's, you know, CNR. You know the rigs by where you're at, and you see all the ships passing as well. It's nice. It's really nice. And in clear days as well, you can see them in the daylight, way off in the distance. And especially if they're flaring off at night time, you see the orange glow in the distance. Lights up the night sky. It's nice. There we go. There's Berwick upon Tweed over there. No trains here, which are weird. This is normally a busy section. Oh. Ask and you shall receive. Who are you? You look like ScotRail Glasgow train, right? Oh, you're an LNER number. Oh. Probably the same train that is... Because I just jumped on... I didn't make a Caledonian line for this. I just jumped on the LNER Aberdeen to London King's Cross. Because that route was already made, and it's exactly where we wanted to go. So here we go, arriving up at Aberdeen. Don't see any aircraft, which is a real shame, because I maybe should have went from Aberdeen down to London, and then we could have had the... Well, no, that wouldn't have worked either, because you would have been approaching London during the daytime, because that's what we're doing. We're doing a full day-night cycle. I do see a plane taking off in the distance, though. And in the night sky, they do look really good. That's why I went to jump on a plane after this. The oil rigs look cool as well. Very cool indeed. There's another Caledonian sleeper. Right, that's bad, because that's the train I went to jump on to go to Edinburgh. So if it's down this side, yeah, it's not good. That means they'll have to reload it and then wait for that train to do its journey and get back to Aberdeen so we can continue the journey in daylight. Oh, the ascent angle of that plane is really steep. Or no, wait. You're turning. Ah, okay. It's not that bad. It just looked bad. It's not that bad. Now we're passing these sort of oil refineries here. You can still see smoke coming from them. When I first saw this, I genuinely thought there were like trees that were like glitching, that were like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, that tree has not rendered well in the darkness. But this is really nice. This looks authentic. As someone who has literally worked at a gas plant and an oil refinery, this is what it looks like. Ridiculous amount of lights. There's massive amount of light pollution. If you stay near one of these places, it's like you go to bed at night, you have to close your curtains because it's like being in perpetual daylight. There is so much light comes from a large oil and gas facility on land. There's a ferry out there as well. It's got no lights on it though, but I can see it. There we go, there's another plane flying off. There's a ScotRail number. So if that ferry was lighting up, it would look super cool. Yeah, streetlights. Don't know why streetlights are these red things. We've got the parking garage here. There's a bus stop. Just at the left of the train station. It's lighting up as well. You can see it sort of flickering away in the background. I mean, that would definitely be something that they would potentially have to sort of fix or clear up, is the flickering lights in the distance. Now that we're getting closer, the lighting is slightly more stable. I would imagine once we've stopped, it'll look just fine. But yeah, I don't know why the street lights are red. It just seems extremely odd. But here we are in Aberdeen, right? I will go and there we go, there's our train. You can see the birds. There were some birds there. Yeah, so that is super bright. But if we go at an angle about here, the light disappears. You can see the sort of lights in the background. It's kind of like being at a disco. It's like being at a rave. Maybe we should put a seizure warning on this episode, because there are some wild flickering lights here. Right, so there we go. Our train is in Aberdeen. It's super dark, very dark. Look, the door lights even light up. Awesome. Oil rigs look really cool, actually. The ships are lighting up. They look cool. Let's go to the airport. I mean, we're waiting for... This is going to France. Air France. I kind of want to land at Heathrow. But this is nice. The airport looks amazing. Like, they've got their taxi lights on and stuff. It's cool. There's a bus there. There's another ScotRail train. Just want to watch this aircraft taking off. There is a strange bloom around all the lights as well. There we go. Plane departing. Perfect time for an autosave there, because I'm just about to... I can come back to this autosave. So at 10:41 it did an autosave, so I need to reload that autosave and then we'll keep the night time and jump on a plane and fly down to London. which will be cool. There we go, so that plane is left. Just want a quick... How does this look? Yeah, it looks kind of weird. Yeah, so you've got your wing. It's interesting, it's just the flickering lights everywhere. It's like a disco. As I said, we're suffering from rolling blackouts here in the UK. So that Caledonian sleeper train is heading back. That's totally fine. I will reload. Do I want a screenshot of this? No, I think I'll take a screenshot in sunset mod time. Because that's going to look nicer. But yeah, we'll jump on at daytime. So I will reload the game now. And back to a point where the map is actually in daylight. And we'll jump on the Caledonian sleeper again and go from Aberdeen to Inverness. And we'll check out the difference. So, here we are, back again. And now it's daytime. Our train consist has changed. We're on a different platform. We came on here at the night time. The DVT is gone, we've got less wagons. It's just the way this Caledonian sleeper from Edinburgh to Inverness is basically set up. There's the ScotRail Sprinter, Aberdeen to Inverness, rolling in now. And we will jump on board once this gets moving. Does look extremely different during the daytime, obviously, because everything is bright. 14:59. Yes, that is not the correct time at the moment. But not long to go to Inverness, off to Elgin, and then heading on to Inverness from there. This lady is going to die. She just lived and no more. Living life on the edge. We shouldn't cross over here or anything. We should just be able to go. We will pass the airport as well. We'll see how that gets on. Hey, there's the oil rig. Cool. Very cool indeed. Now, they would not be as close to the coastline as that one is. The only reason these oil rigs are as close to the coastline is because the only thing we have that transports mass amounts of crude oil are the tanker barges there. So we need them to be close because they are incredibly slow. But we'll see the fuel drop off or the oil drop off point here. There is rather a lot of oil there. I should maybe add some more trucks. And it looks like there are more on the way. So that should be fine. We've got a Total truck there, standard truck there. Ooh, we've got class 47. And standard BR blue livery. With the C-Link rail freight wagons, they are really cool. I do like them. And some of them are just standard rail freight wagons. Ooh, and we've got EWS 47 heading up the rear. 4727, 47727. I did not actually catch all of that, but it should be fairly plain sailing now because the Aberdeen to Inverness Sprinter is actually behind us. There should not be any passenger trains in front. We may have one or two freight trains crossing, potentially. We should also look at Aberdeen as well. See, there's a couple of neon signs that you can see there, but they just don't pop as well as they do during the night time. In the night time they look really good. There is a plane on approach to Aberdeen. There looks to be a standard vanilla 737 waiting to take off. Looks like there's an EasyJet also waiting to depart. Just a single runway here at Aberdeen, so they will have to wait for this incoming flight. Could be an Air France number, the one we just literally watched take off in the darkness. There we go. Beautiful landing there. Very nice indeed. I love actually coming on this route and just going past the airport. It's nice. Quite a few Airbuses and 737s floating around here, which is probably the largest thing that you would get leaving from Sir Aberdeen. Looks like there is a combat train on the left of Balfour Beatty. Balfour Betty. It's a race. Who's going to win? Do we actually need to cross paths with that train? I can't remember. It has been a long time since I have been up this side of the map. And there's another track there. I'm assuming that's a freight line. A separate freight line. But we're almost at Elgin. Elgin is in the distance there. And then it will be on to Inverness, and then we will be finished our glorious journey from evening through the night to the daytime. Yeah, I think we're going to cross paths with this train. I am kind of hoping that it lets us go first. We are sort of gaining on it. No, it tunnels under. Yay! So we don't have to deal with any stoppages. That's nice. That is nice to know. Right, so you are heading round. The train is heading under us right now, and then it will appear on the right hand side. Maybe. Probably won't see it because this bridge is in the way. It should pop out. It was slightly ahead. No. We have surpassed... Ooh, the random fence I tested out that was way too far away from the track, and I forgot to delete it. A glorious attempt at high detailing there. I have been practicing though, so in the next series there will be things that look better, potentially. And then heading up here, we've got this, I believe it's a German station, but I thought it'd be nice to get it in because it is pretty cool. I do like this station mod. Lots of industrial areas around the back of Elgin here, and McDonald's. Now there is actually McDonald's in real life next to the train tracks in Elgin. There we go, our stagecoach and bus is going to have to wait. Crossing over this road extremely slowly. There are literally about 1 billion people on platform 1 that went to head towards the Aberdeen area. There's something in the sky there. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Superman. 9:52. Ooh, so it took a long time. It took from 3 o'clock to 9:52 to get to Elgin. Do we not stop here? I feel that we should stop here. Huh. There's another train coming. Ah, it's the Sprinter. So that Sprinter will fit in the station, but the Caledonian sleeper probably won't. It's quite long. Yeah, and there's a few people on there. Right, all aboard. 58 looks to be the number, heading onwards. And then off we go, and it's just a short journey over Inverness. In the daylight, in the morning. Well, it should be morning. Can't really tell. It's always cloudy. It's always sunny as well. Ooh, that's a darker cloud. There's no rain in it, as we know, because there's no weather at Transport Fever 2. The Renaissance Hotel. See, here's some neon signs. There we go. So they do look okay. During the daytime, but they look even better at night. Why is this train going so terribly slow? 21, 22? Does it just take a long time to speed up? I don't remember it being... No, it's getting there. We're up to 30. And then we'll be off to Inverness. Now, I was going to do a flyover with a plane, but I think I'll leave that for a different episode. There's the distillery over there. Because this has actually been quite a long time. Maybe not to do the drive-by, but it's definitely been a long time for me to continuously reload the map with sunset, night, and daytime again. And I had a crash in between. Now, the crash was not during the sunset mod playthrough or the night mod playthrough, it was actually during the daytime playthrough. It was extremely strange. There we go, other class 47 freight train. Heading along, nice. There's the more should be a roundabout over there. Ooh, there's a ridiculous amount of trucks waiting there. Now that's probably broken, because what will happen is a alcohol truck will be waiting for alcohol, and a grain truck that needs to deliver grain probably will not be able to unload it. I would imagine that is what the issue is there. So the alcohol truck will be resigned to its fate, because it will never get alcohol, because the grain trucks that supply grain for the alcohol will be stuck behind it. There are a couple of grain trucks still running on the road there though. There's two just passed. Quite a lot of freight waiting there at Inverness Freight Station. There we go, there's the bridge. Traffic has built up on this bridge again once more, so a roundabout did help for a small period. There's another little ScotRail Class 150 that heads up to Wick and Thurso on the right hand side there, and we shall meet it presently. In fact, it's quite a fair distance ahead of us. You stay there, Mercedes Sprinter bus van. I thought that was going to cross. Yeah, so the mountains. Yeah, I think the mountains look better at night. I don't know why. That's a very blue door. Oh! One of those, ooh, actually two palm trees. Nice. Native to Scotland, as everyone knows. Yeah, look at those mountains, just devoid of wilderness. Just rock and a few patches of grass here and there. I would love to be able to perfect mountains in map creation. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at it. Because these ones look too smooth. You know, they need to be more pointy and jagged. Because it is rock. There should probably be some trees, and then once you get above the tree line, maybe a bit of snow, etc. But here we go, arriving at Inverness. I do not know how many people want to go to Wick and Thurso, but it looks like a hell of a lot. And that Class 150 is going to be extremely overwhelmed. But we have arrived. So won't do the plane. I will do a nighttime plane journey at some point. But here we are. I thought it was pretty cool doing the sunset and the night. I really like the sunset. It's beautiful. The night is maybe a bit too dark. There's obviously some lighting issues. But yeah, it's good. I just wanted to do this because I thought it'd be fun. And it was cool to do it on the Caledonian Sleeper as well. So we'll leave it there for that episode. Leave me a comment, let me know. Do you think there should be a day-night cycle and weather, etc. in Transport Fever 2? I personally think there should be. I think it should be an option for people to toggle on and off if they maybe want to play the game in its base form, by all means, but give other people the option to make it more immersive. But yeah, that's going to be it from us. I've been Danny Boy, this has been Transport Fever 2, and I will catch you later.